Isn't that going to make them more hostile to us and possibly
no, I'd rather
open the
deal
door
with a liberal than a
for
conservative.
China, closer to Canada, and that would really put us in a bind.
The conservative that's running is stupidly no friend of mine. I don't know him, but he said negative things. So when he says negative things, I couldn't care less. I think it's easier to deal, actually, with a liberal.
Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. Thursday, December the 4th, 3:19 a.m. Great to have you along today. 3 weeks before Christmas. Yeah, 3 weeks before Christmas. I've got the big blue mug of coffee. Wonderful to have you here. We'll get back to the clip you saw off the top of this video in just a moment. Basically, Donald Trump endorsing Mark Carney on the Laura Ingraham show on Fox News prior to the election. We now know why he did that. The chickens are coming home to roost. So back to that in just a moment. There's a number I want you to think about. 374. 374. What is the significance of the number 374? Well, to the best of my ability, I went back to search for the exact day that Donald Trump started talking about tariffs on Canada. Now, if we go back to this story right here, Trudeau to meet with premiers as Trump threatens hefty tariffs on Canadian goods, you notice the date is November the 26th, which was a Tuesday, so more than a year ago. This was 373 days ago when this story went up. If you look down here in the story, it says the U.S. president-elect said Monday, 374 days ago, that on his first day back in the White House, he would impose a 25% tax on all goods imported from Canada and Mexico. So it has now been 374 days since the Liberal government knew we were going to have tariffs, and nothing has been accomplished on this at all. Nothing. In fact, things have gotten worse. Now you're going to say, well, this was under Justin Trudeau. Let's take a little quick trip through these stories here. This is not a comprehensive list of all the times that people have spoken about tariffs in this country over the last 374 days, but on November 27th, Trudeau met with the premiers as Trump ramps up his threats against Canada. Up next, Trudeau holding second meeting with premiers to talk about Trump tariff threat. This was on December 11th. Let's go to the next story. This was January 15th. Trudeau, premiers say all options on the table to respond to Trump's tariffs. Up next, we have got Mark Carney meeting with premiers to discuss Canada's response to U.S. tariffs on March the 28th. We've got another one here on April the 3rd. We have got another one here on July 22nd. Premiers discuss building a stronger and more secure Canada, and this was with the Prime Minister. We can go to this one here, which was August 6th. Carney meets with cabinet premiers to talk escalating Trump tariffs. And then we can go to this one here just from November 17th. Premiers say they had a positive meeting with PM, hint that tariff relief is coming. It has been 374 days since this Liberal government under Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney have had to deal with these tariffs, and they have accomplished absolutely nothing. Now back to Donald Trump endorsing Mark Carney prior to the election, and we'll get to how the chickens are coming home to roost. They have been for some time, but it's really showing up just in time for Christmas.
Is it liberal? Maybe, but a conservative until I got involved, because I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with the liberal than the conservative, if you want to know the truth.
Isn't that going to make them more hostile to us and possibly
no, I'd rather
open the
deal
door
with a liberal than a
for
conservative.
China, closer to Canada, and that would really put us in a bind.
The conservative that's running is stupidly no friend of mine. I don't know him, but he said negative things. So when he says negative things, I couldn't care less. I think it's easier to deal, actually, with a liberal.
There's a reason why Trump endorsed Mark Carney, and it's going to become evident in just a moment. There's a kicker to this story. And for those of you who don't know what a kicker is in relation to a news story, it's the shocking part at the end. It's coming up in just a moment. It's going to kick you right in the balls. Just one of the things that's happened over this 374 days that hasn't been resolved by the Liberals. And for those of you saying Mark Carney, he hasn't been prime minister all the time, John. No, only 220 days ago was he elected officially as the prime minister. 220 days since April the 28th. So he hasn't solved this problem. I mean, I talked about the 41,000 jobs lost the other day, right? Brian Lilly did a story on that. As far as negotiations go with Donald Trump, it should be the number one thing to get this resolved. But who cares?
Who cares? I mean, it's a detail. It's a detail. I spoke to him. I'll speak to him again when it matters. Who cares?
When they write a political obituary on Mark Carney down the road, because eventually he's going to be ousted, he'll lose an election, he'll be remembered for those two words. Who cares? But you were warned about this. You were warned about Mark Carney being the greatest person to deal with Donald Trump when it came to tariffs. The headlines screamed it out loud and clear, folks. Mark Carney was the only person who could deal with Donald Trump.
A new survey from Nanos Research for CTV News shows Mark Carney is the top pick to deal with U.S. President Donald Trump over conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and his fellow Liberal leadership candidates.
And he hasn't done the job. You were warned about this. Pierre Poilievre warned you about this. And something happened 368 days ago. Pierre, take it away.
It's clear that President Trump wants the Liberals in power because they will keep this country weak. After 10 years in power, the Liberals have given us the weakest economy in the G7. They've doubled our housing costs, driven $500 billion to the south, all while Mark Carney was economic advisor to Trudeau, and while Mr. Carney moved his corporate headquarters to New York. Do you know that he moved his headquarters to Trump's hometown 6 days after Trump first threatened to tariff Canada? While these people here were worried about losing their jobs, Mark Carney was busy moving jobs to Trump's hometown. That's exactly the kind of weak, compromised, conflicted leadership that Donald Trump wants, and it's why he endorsed Mark Carney yesterday.
Mark Carney moved his corporate headquarters to New York 6 days after Donald Trump mentioned tariffs. And we go back to our base number of 374. That means it was 368 days ago. And Mark Carney actually defended it. And he lied about it as well. Now, I thought about how to give you the kicker. Here's the kicker to the story. And this is just one of many kickers, but this one's the most recent. And this one really does kick you right in the balls. I wasn't sure how to present this. Do I present another Pierre Poilievre clip, this one from the House of Commons within the last 48 hours, or do I actually play the thing that's going to really hit you hardest right at the end? Well, let's really kick you the hardest from the White House in the Oval Office with Donald Trump in just a moment. Once again, Mr. Poilievre, take it away.
Liberals love to give corporate bailouts and handouts to companies that ship jobs out of our country. Now we learn the Liberal government has pledged $15 billion, or $1,000 for every tax-paying family in Canada, people who can't afford food, to Stellantis. And Mr. Speaker, investment is fleeing this country almost as fast as the Prime Minister is running out the back door of Parliament right now. Why won't he?
The honourable member, that was offside. That was offside. And we're going to have to go to the next question, which is also that of the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister gets angry and runs out the door rather than answering the questions about the cost.
He didn't say he wasn't here. He didn't say he wasn't here.
$15 billion out the door, $1,000 for every tax-paying family to a company that is shipping jobs out of the country. Why is he sending our dollars away, our jobs away, while he runs away?
And now Stellantis with Donald Trump in the Oval Office.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great day for us at Stellantis today because it's the day where we see CAFE regulation reconciled with real customers' demand. That's why at Stellantis we decided to invest to Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler $13 billion in the next 4 years, increasing production by 50%, delivering to the market 5 new vehicles, and creating 5,000 additional jobs. That's because we believe in what you, Secretary Taffy, and all your team is doing in this country. We believe in growth, and we are ready to invest even more. So thank you very much. Thank you very much also for this great news of the K cars, which we are very interested in. And we are very looking forward to work with Secretary Taffy, your team, in the future for the next steps. Thank you very much.
We'll get ready for those cars because we've already cleared the way. You can start right away.
We will. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Do you feel thoroughly kicked now? Well, that's got to hurt. 374 days, folks. I want to take you back to something that I really like. I had this on a video about a week or so ago. I call this the stages of liberal cope. Only Carney can get a deal. It won't be perfect, but we'll get a deal. If we don't get a deal, it's not Carney's fault. And now we're at no deal is the best deal. Sounds like a bad deal to me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. You can only laugh. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell for notifications. I'm going upstairs to heat up my big blue mug of coffee, and I'll see you in the next one.